Just want to start off by saying thank you, God. Um, I've been making a lot of videos and starting off with the same saying of thanking God. The reason why is just I'm just thankful for what I can be thankful for, and what I can be very thankful for is I didn't live life like this slow life involved in this program. I've always knew that this program is the very disturbing thing that a lot of target individuals deal with, and I'm being aware of all the tar- all the target individual being tortured are consisting of all gender, race, and ages. Very, very disgusting things happening and being normalized by everyday citizen that partake in this, that normalize this, and that expect the target individual to just moving according like this is the norm. And the consequences of that is certain target individuals have lost their mind and just lashed out and ended up killing some just random people because random, regular, everyday citizen partake in this, but don't expect consequences from coming back from that. They think life is going to be internalized in the way they manipulate things. And so for me, I knew all along how horrible things were because I was part of the TI awareness, understanding that this happened to men, women, and children. And I understand that what's presenting to me is a facade to try to recreate reality. I understood that it was like a psychological warfare of some sort, in the sense of trying to gaslight the target individual to internalize reality in a fashion that's almost mentally regressed, and hoping that a facade of certain nature, a presentation of certain nature, will make you identify with this nasty manipulation of disturbing nature. And it was obvious to me. It's like, okay, you are acting this way, you are behaving this way, you're presenting this for me to be internalized. I could see the game behind what they were doing. It was clear that you want me to see you in this fashion so I can be subscriptive to this manipulation. And so I understood that there was a lot of psychological gameplay in the way they want you to internalize things. And I'm aware of that, and if you've seen my videos for years, this is what I've been bringing up. But today, it is getting easier to get information because of, like I said, this ChatGPT like apps like Gemini. I've been using Gemini, and for me, when these clowns want for me to accept this manipulation, because with me they wanted me to look at them as like we're just a different kind of research study that's just observing and mapping and matching the brain without manipulating the brain in this way. Like they had like this retarded scripts. I'm like, you bunch of clowns. I know you do the same to other target individuals. Some who you might call high credible target individual, meaning that they're women who are professional, that like it would be almost impossible to paint this disturbing facade, this disturbing persona to them, but they have the same script. And so today I'm like, oh yeah, right, so you're certain. And then I just look up on this Gemini app, like, hey, is there a TI claim from high credible target individual who are women, established with children, who are being told that they're in a study and these nasty manipulations are, and they will have this bunch of testimonials that they picked specific testimonials of what's happened to them. Is so disgusting. Today what they do to me is nothing new to what they do to others. When I see children, they force me to get sexual arousals and act like they're just observing as part of their search, and they're part of this research and studies, and they're just observing something that they don't do to others. And it becomes so obvious that that's what they do to others. But the worst part is when I can pull a testimonial, and there's a testimonial of a woman who's crying, broken down, that she can't even hold her own child because they forced her to get sexual arousals. Told her own child, and she said they're even using our own children to trigger this nasty manipulation. They force us to get sexual arousal toward our own children. I'm bathing my own child. In the midst of bathing her, they stimulate me. in this degrading way. I'm helping my child after to use the restroom, wiping. They force me to get sexual arousals. And this is the most disgusting. A social worker who for years have been working in child protective services also they put in this program and now forces her to have sexual arousals toward young individuals, from children to whoever else. That's this she's supposed to be helping. All the same thing. Not only observing, experiencing this disgusting manipulation, but forced by this technology, but also observing their own children being tortured using this technology. It is so disgusting. And the facades. Oh my gosh, it's such a psychological game. Listen, because in society, when you view women, you have these ways of when you view women versus men, for example, you expect or don't expect, but you think that women have this higher morality than men usually. Because when you hear the most evil things happening, you hear men doing it. You don't hear women. So there is an aspect that women, nurture looking women, are people that more on a morality state. They use that perception a lot, especially against target individuals who are female, to gaslight the target individual to subscribe to this manipulation. They have the most nicest lady in the neighborhood. They have group of women that just are the most gaslighter in this program, just because of the way they are presented in society or how you see them. So they'd rather have some nice looking, wholesome looking woman gaslight you because it's gonna make it seem like it's more true, or it's more is less of a psychological tactic. They have a lot of female gender participants for that reason. There's even a woman who said she was put in this program, and there is a community of feminists that was also participating in gaslighting her as a woman. Now, I knew that this is more of a psychological psyop type of situation where they're trying to paint a reality that you will be subscriptive to if you see a bunch of people looking like that. A bunch of mothers, they have a lot of that. Nurturing looking mothers. Try to gaslight other mothers that, oh, actually you're a threat to your own child, wanting this woman to just give up, to even have her children taken away from her. Some women just don't want to deal with how disturbing they manipulate them to experience these things, that they give up on their own children, they move away, they get away from. And there's a lot of participants who are female gender. Now, of course, I know it was just a facade. It's how they just create these tactics. It's tactical. It's done that way because this is how somebody's going to be accepting of this manipulation, whatever works. With me, because they know that I know this, right? It's clear. They're not switching back to some regular clown, retard, fucking dude. A guy who's talking to me. I'm like, okay, you see why they want to use women instead of you? Because you're pretty obvious what you're doing. Some childish, immature, some other men who try to send me and saying that's why they use these women, because they want to pass this as if they don't do it that. So to be able to pull that and put that in the faces of all these people who are trying to gaslight me, in their faces, like as intellectual as they are, wanting me to be like, no, with you, and just not doing the same thing that women are crying about. This woman was broken down that as soon as she saw her toddler child, they stimulated her to have sexual arousal. It was such a breakdown experience that she ran to the bathroom and started crying. because she can't even be a mother based on how they're studying her. And as she was crying, the V2K started like saying, "Oh, stop pretending to cry. We all know it's you." And this is so nasty things to do. With me, all throughout the weekend, I was listening to that. It's like, there's no way you can cover up what you guys do. This is a tactical tactic. You do this nastiness, and there's a lot of participation of this teenage shit. All this teenager participating in this, they are so disgusting. All this trash are being groomed in ways that are so disgusting. To hear that, listen, I've been saying for a long time that they're planning, they tell me they're gonna frame me with this teenage trash. With me, they have this low life around me. They say, "Oh, we're gonna say we say that actually you're engaged to one of them." Some stupidity. I can't wait to see with these clowns that you eloped with this. And they know the second if they're even close to behaving like this around me, the reality of how endangered they could have been if they do this in front of me. I don't think they've even dawned on them yet. But to hear what they do to women, married women. There was a woman testimonial who said that she was in a hotel. Or somebody who looked like a teenager, like a teenage kid, helped her. And as she's in the elevator, this teenage girl started crying and unbuttoned her sweater and looking at the camera. And she was saying they were trying to frame me to look like I was grooming or doing something to this. It's so nasty. They're framing these women with these teenagers. In one case, this woman said they not only use this teenager to frame, but some of the tortures are not just like remotely done. They are physically raping these women. One testimonial is a woman that she was baited by one of the teenagers. And when I mean baited, it's not baiting all. She was trying to. A teenager looked like she was like in need of help. And the woman, being a nurturing person, asked the teenager, "What's wrong? What's going on?" The teenager lured her into an alley where two men assaulted her and raped her. And this teenager just was staring at her, stopped crying, and just watching her getting raped. Then, not only that, a woman came and looked at her, and like this nurturing, mother-looking person started looking at the whole thing, did not help her, did not call the cops. Watch her getting raped. Testimonials like that, in different versions, where there's a lot of teenage participant, is disgustingly a lot. It's so disturbing. And the reason was I say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, I didn't live my life like this trash. The way they were trying to cover it, never. Now, in regard to this manipulation, I will never internalize this nasty manipulation. Thank God. Listen, they do that to women with children, and they do that to their children. So I gotta be strong and deal with this nasty things they do to me, to random things. I was looking this morning. I was looking for a map to. There's another where this 11-year-old or something. Stimulation. They even try to like create perception, because not only they play with your libido, which is one thing, they can play with the way you see things, the perception, which is disgusting. But as disgusting as it is, those are not. This is not my child that they're doing that to. So I will never see this thing again. This kid over there. They even try to look at the hip, try to create some features that could be manipulated in my brain in a sexual fashion. This teenage kid, they're not even a teenage. This is like a 12, preteen. They even the foot, her feet with the socks, try to make me think of her in a sexual way. However, they can manipulate the brain to manage a thought and experience stimulation. They will create and design that. And this is what they do. If there's a research and study, it's clearly about that, about how to reward somebody to have these grading experiences. How can they make things go into the brain of this target individual in this disturbing way? That's the society. And we just deal we're like just little objects that okay, we can manipulate the brain this way, we can play with the socks and this and try to create okay this and that and try to implant ways to force. And then once they manipulate this brain, the brain in these degrading ways, they have this class like yeah, and the teenager with me, it sounds like they're like childish, like teenager or young adult. It's like yeah, they believe you. It's like yeah. They don't believe that you guys do the pedophilia type of torture that you do to mothers toward their own children. But you guys don't do that. Like, it's the validation is so extreme that they would do that to women toward their own children. And then be like, no, they believe us. It's like, yeah, right. Everybody knows what this is about. And understand what this is about. That doesn't mean they're not going to participate in that. That's hence the noise campaign. They're involved in that. They know what this is about. They know they can play with the brain in these disturbing ways. They'll try to compare a woman's foot. Let me show. As I'm trying to. This. Yeah. Anyways, it's just like a portion and just like this would just, oh, that would make me feel stimulation. And they're forcing me to get sexual stimulation. And I'm super internalizing this. Right now they gave me stimulation and that's why you heard this noise campaign. All this little noise campaign is all part of psychological tactics to just make me internalize this. It's like, yeah, they believe us. And then when they see I'm not subscribing to this, they're going to honk you, they're going to cut you, they're going to, it's like whatever things you're going to do to me, you will never make me internalize these things. You guys are low-life bottom feeders who torture children, harm them, burn them, cook them, and manipulate the brain in these degrading ways, even mothers are forced to have this experience toward children. And they're like, they believe, no, they know what you guys are and they partake with fun and enjoyment. But you face this part. I'm not a passive target individual. They come with the gimmick. They gotta be ready. With me, it's gonna come with some sacrificial thing. That's all I can say. They gotta be coming with these games and all that, understanding that this will go somewhere else. However they hype themselves up, it will never happen. I will not internalize this. And I see for what you guys are participating in a program where they are luring women to get raped, torturing children, cooking their genitals, and using these teenagers to mock the sufferings of these children so they can break the woman psychologically, or the participant, not the parents. Laughing at the sufferings of a child so the parent, who's a target individual, can feel the psychological breakdown. Never. So if I see this perps playing the game, expecting I'm going to be subscribed to this, never going to happen. They will try to make me think, because it's getting so obvious that they do these tactics of trying to paint the target individual in this way. They try to bring up whatever they can and kind of add their own little thing or add to it. Memory manipulation, they will even try to play memory manipulation of Obama's kid. It's like, no, you see, back in whatever Obama was president, you saw this the teenage kids in this way. It's like trash. And then they brought me back when I moved to this apartment. Now, by the time I moved here, you know I was already a target individual. I remember seeing these people mocking me, but they were like young adults. At least they looked like young adults. This guy with like a full-on beard, just like acting like he was having seizures. Like, hey. And there's a guy who came with his girlfriend. He had like his arm around her, and they were like all laughing, and they were all like dressed almost the same. It's like the same group of people. And like, how old was the girl that's next there? And they start giving me stimulation. And you know, especially the worst is when like they're like young adults. I was looking at some 24-year-old. I have a folder of, because as they play with me today, the older I get, the harder for me it is to look at this young adult like it's just adults. Some of them to me look like teenage kids, even though they're adults. So they love to play with that. And so go back and make me think of somebody who most likely a young adult, and make me think of them as if they're a teenager and give me stimulation. Or be like, oh, you saw her like that, yeah, you see. And they add something, when in reality it was like, you just see like a young couple together. and then try to change something else. Like, oh, our teenage trash us. These people were mocking me for acting like, they were having seizure. These men would like when I mean, some young adult with a full-on beard, just like mocking me of having a seizure. Be like, yeah, young is a trash us. This is your young out here making fun of people's sufferings. This is an adult. But these teenagers, there were a bunch of teenagers that wants to be seen all the time. They try to make me think, what about that one? There's some anorexic looking teenager that looks just like me, because I'm not in great shape. I'm very bad physically. I'm not looking. They destroy my organs. And just to be like, yo, you look like my twin, because we both look like we're just fading away. I don't know if it's the same, but I remember when I moved in here, there was one that just immediately gave me stimulation. And I'm like, oh, I know it's the things they make me have. I don't know. She kind of looked like this person here, but I'm not sure. Because this one definitely is a teenage kid. The other one looked more like a older teen, like 18, 19. This one looked like a 15, 16-year-old skinny anorexic one. I don't know if they're the same, but they're like, oh, we see, it's like trash. And they forced me to get sexual arousals. And they try to paint this like, oh, you see, it's like, you forced me to have these experiences. And on top of that, they then try to mess with you like, oh, how can you guess this is like trash? These people are known to be forcing even women to have these sexual arousals. And they're messing with me because I was like, she could pass for like this Jessie Penny models. Like, not like half fashion, but and it's forced stimulation. Like, oh, I'm models. Like, cool clown. And I'm not talking about like just like, oh, half fashion. No, like just like regular. And they give me the stimulation. And today they like try to mess with me. And I'm like, hey, if you tell me this is the one of the, I have pictures. The videos you see two teenage looking person looking at the phone is this anorexic looking ones. I have the real picture. And I'm like, you think this little thing here, who look just like me, is delusional trash? But go ahead. Do this thing, try to bait me into like being I will crash the F up. It's gonna be bad. I've warned them. I've warned you. You come, it's like, yeah, there's a lot. It's so obvious, it's scary. From the teenagers that are baiting women to go into the alley so they can get raped. From teenagers that go into the elevator acting like they're going to help this woman, but all along then acting like they're victimized. And they're like, yeah, now we're just helping. That's like, yeah, I've seen how you help them. Disgusting trash. I hear the help. This woman's solidarity. Never gonna let this low life live the fantasy. For this trash, from the teenage trash, to those who can think that their fear tactics gonna make me subscribe to that, I welcome you to try to gaslight me. But I warn you, it's gonna be bad. Some of this trash in turn they want to method act these things. I will not method act. I will go for it. I'll crash out. I'll crash out, and I don't mean the way you guys want. I mean the way that will end everything here for me. I will not be alive. Take me to stay strong.